All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Mike Patello. It is Thursday night. I believe it's the 13th of March, which I can't believe we're this far through the year already, but it's been an absolutely exciting start to the year so far. We've had a pre-launch come to an end and transitioned into our beta launch, and it has been just absolutely wonderful. And Monday night, we had some amazing stories from three amazing people that shared their experience with Immunotec just in a handful of days that they had been involved. And then last night we announced, before we went through a training, we announced that we have a new product for kids that's going to be coming out on I believe it's the 21st of this month. I don't have the exact notes in front of me, but if you process a 500 point, which is one blue, one greens, one sun ray, that's the Body Shop bundle, a 500 point auto ship or subscription in the month of March. If you've already done it, or if you do it by the end of March, you will get a free full month supply of that. Now, I did want to let everybody know, brand new consultants, the one thing they won't see on AutoShip, they won't see the special packs because they have the enrollment pro packs. So that's one thing that brand new consultants, if they joined in March, they won't see those packs in their particular AutoShip, but everybody else will. And in addition to getting a free month supply of that new product coming out on the 21st, you also get 2,000 cruise points for running that subscription in the month of March. And then when you run it again, that 500 point order in April, I had to think about what came after March for a second, you get another 2,000 points towards the cruise. So just many ways to gather cruise points up and kind of conquer your place on the boat, right? It's going to be an amazing ship, amazing cruise, 6 days going out of Panama City into Aruba, Curacao, and Cartagena. Just a great trip that you don't want to miss. So any opportunities we have to get points, we definitely want to do that. And this new product, I will tell you this, it's tiny but mighty. It is a fantastic product. Kids the age of 4 are going to just eat this thing up. They're going to go crazy over it. They're going to love it. The smell of it, the taste of it. It's completely sugar-free, brain health, bone health, teeth health, vitamin health. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love the name. You're going to love the product. You're going to love the packaging. Easy for sampling, easy for introducing to moms and dads. And kids have a lot of fun with it. I know my kids have been testing it and they are raving about it. My son calls it by name now. I was getting ready to almost divulge the name, but I'm not going to do that. And it was kind of cool. He says, "Dad, I need my body shot." And so he's added this. He's got his routine in. And it's just been an exciting week. And this week it's kind of coming to an amazing culmination tonight. We've got some extraordinary people on the Zoom. And, we go through our presentation on glutathione and share with you the amazing benefits that this substance in your body does for you. And what's been awesome is that this green substance that you can earn by sharing this with other people has done some amazing things for people. And we've got Angela and Rusty Barton on with us tonight. We've got Kim and Lee, Mick Karshner, and Denise Walsh. And we're going to talk to each of them just about what this experience has been for them and kind of maybe give you some pointers on how you can go from where you're at tonight into the next level. If you're on this Zoom, you're obviously plugged in. Maybe you got an email. I don't believe we sent out a text message quite yet, or maybe we did. I have to check. But we do have 2 groups that we want to make sure you're plugged into. For all of our consultants and all of our pros, we have Immunotec Platinum Pros on Facebook. That's where all things business are discussed. Marketing ideas, tips, all of the conference calls that we have each week, because they change. It's not in a standard order quite yet, but that is a Facebook page that you can plug into no matter what group you're in. That's something that is opened by a lot of leaders, and they collaborate and share a lot of great information. The other one is the glutathione effect. That one is strictly product. There won't be business post allowed in there. There is just information. There's so much information about glutathione, about what it does, about how it can help you. So you can invite people into that group. You can add people to that group, but we just ask them to answer the one question that we ask, and that is, are they interested in living longer? and having a better health and interested in glutathione, right? It's a real simple question on there. All I got to do is select yes, and we will add them to the group, and it's a great place to learn. So with that, I want to start out, Denise. I'd like to start with you first, and share a little bit about your experience. You know, you and I and Brandon have known each other for many, many, many years, and we've got a lot of people on here that are like, okay, I've heard some of these checks that Mick and Angela and Rusty and Kim and Brandon, Denise, and the ladies that were on Monday night. But I know, you know, you had said something the other day. You said, I know this comp plan works, but I didn't know it worked that good. So maybe share a little bit from your perspective.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I got started in the industry in 2007 with no experience. I was a clinical psychologist, really just loved people and really not an entrepreneurial bone in my body. And needless to say, I have found that network marketing is my home. And when I had the opportunity after a few years break to get back in, of course, I had known Mike and we did some research on the products, the comp plan, the company, and everything was just, ticking the boxes. The company's stable. It's already a well-oiled machine. The products have, uh, 90 some studies. I mean, it's solid science-backed products that work. And then the comp plan, I found it was easy to promote. Like, this doesn't seem hard, when you're going through the paperwork and you're like, I could do that. Like, this doesn't seem like a complicated comp plan. But that doesn't necessarily, so I was thinking it's going to be easy to promote. Like, promotion within the company is going to be fairly easy, right? It's work, but it's not complicated. But I thought, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to make money. Like, we got to see how this comp plan actually pays out. And then we got our first check, and I was like, okay, it pays out. Like, we're good. And not just for me, but like for our team. It was really, really fun to see them succeed in just our first week. Oh, you're muted.
I was just saying that's what was exciting for me is that, you know, as we transitioned from pre-launch into beta launch, where we connected the systems, but we knew we still had some things we had to get done, is that people are now earning money. I mean, people were making those $5 commissions from the happy pill. They started to make in the compensation plan. And Angela and Rusty, I'm going to jump to you guys. You guys decide who talks first. But you know, we've not known each other all that long. I've known of you guys, but we've not known each other. And, you know, one thing that I just really loved was that you really took advantage of the happy hour, and you had some amazing people there, and you guys got started. You obviously have a background in direct sales, but you got an extraordinary team that you've started to build. And just share a little bit about what this experience so far has been for you.
Well, being in the industry for 20 plus years, it's refreshing, is the word I would think of first. Because there are a lot of things in the industry that have parts of what you're looking for in a well-rounded company, from being able to put your stamp on, and being
Mm.
able to to what is it,
All in.
put your flag in, and
Yep.
say, I want to do
Yeah.
this.
Stake in the ground.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I feel, there's, people that, like I said, the companies are fragmented. There's companies that broke our hearts, that had great potential, that just didn't have the leadership to move forward to the next level. There's, just pieces missing, and here there's more than we ever expected. I mean, from the patents to the science, to the system, to everything that's already put in place, to the longevity of the history of this company. It's so refreshing to have a place that we can feel like, wow, we can just step in here and we can move, we can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Angela pretty well summed it up, Mike. I mean, we've been around the industry for more than 2 decades and spent, for the most part, gosh, 16 years in the same community, and fell in love with the concept, fell in love with the people. I mean, we got our best friends are on this Zoom tonight. I mean, we've developed
Mm.
relationships that are long lasting. And, once we come out of that community, we were displaced. I mean, we were looking for a company that we could, I mean, basically plant our stake. And I look at Immunotec as a already legacy that we can actually create a legacy within a legacy.
Mm,
This is super exciting because when people understand, timing's everything in our business. Timing's, everything in every business, but in our industry, it's crucial. But to have a unique opportunity to position yourself with a company that's already a legacy, a 28-year-old legacy, and be able to be a part of basically a ground floor launch in North America and Canada is a tremendous opportunity for people that don't understand that. They don't understand what they got their hands on. Their eyes will be open as we progress along here, and the people that we're attracting, that we're going to attract, are going to just be absolutely phenomenal.
yeah. No, I appreciate you saying that because and I was talking to Brandon earlier today, Denise, and we were talking about this, and he had said, it's crazy to see what goes on in our industry sometime. And I know sometimes that word is overused, right? And I was sharing with somebody earlier this week when I joined a company. I joined my first company. I think it was 1999, might have been 1998. But you couldn't have convinced me there was another company out there like that. I thought it was the one and the only that had this kind of model. I just didn't know. I was a young guy. I was in college. I hadn't been exposed to any business whatsoever except the little jewelry business that my parents did. And then as I grew older and I made a career in this business, you realize that it's such a huge. It is an industry. It's massive, and it can be a full-time profession. But I tell you, the last, I don't even know how many years, but it's been several years that there's been so much turmoil with people. Denise, some people ask them for passcodes. So I know you've posted some things, but I'm not sure what.
I'm logging in to grab it.
Okay. Um, but the companies are terminating their field and going affiliate. They're doing crazy stuff out there. Just yesterday, there was a big company that looks like it's a kind of gobbling up a company that one time was doing very, very well, but for whatever reason, it's not now. And they're merging into a bigger company over the next 2 years. And you start to just go, there's a lot of uncertainty. And when I was looking, gosh, I guess 3.5 years ago, when I stepped away from my day-to-day role in a company after over a decade, I was really looking out there and nothing really was appealing to me. I mean, it just the product. I mean, I've said this on many, many Zooms. The products didn't have the meat. It had some, had this or it had that, but it didn't have that science. It didn't have the backing. And I think in today's world, I mean, you look at the whole movement just in America right now with making America healthy again. People are looking for a company that wants to be a network marketing company, that wants to create clean products, that wants to be on the cutting edge of technology and doing things a little different, and that welcomes people home that are looking for those things. And that was a big part, Kim. And when you and I first talked, it was really cool to see. I think Mick and Rusty had introduced me, and we were having a conversation, and you were just like, I'm looking for this company. I'm looking for a company I can plant my flag in. And you've had some fantastic success just in. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of text. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I thought I muted it. Apparently I didn't. But Kim, and maybe share from your perspective as somebody who's been full time in this business for a long time, coming on board and hopping in and really kicking it off right.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, it's been an incredible experience the last probably just over a week that we've been involved. And I think I can speak for lots of people that are on here. When you've been in the industry a while, you start to develop a little bit of network marketing PTSD. And if you have that, it's okay, right? Because so many companies out there, like Mike just shared and Angela and Rusty shared, that there's companies out there that are closing down. I think many of us, if you've been in network marketing at all for any point in time, you probably have been disappointed by some company that you had so much hope for. And I've been in the industry for almost 23 years. My wife and I have been doing this full time for 21. And we've only been with 3 companies in 21 years. And so we were disappointed by the shutdown of the last 2 that we were involved in. And so then you really start to doubt. And I remember the first time I talked to Mike, I told Mike, I said, I'm not really looking for an opportunity. I'm looking for a home. And I understand that the network marketing industry is a phenomenal industry for all of us. It is the greatest opportunity out there for the average person like myself and all of you out there to really do something special, but to change a lot of lives in the midst of doing it as well. And so I fell in love with this industry, but I just didn't know if I had enough in me to keep starting over and over and over again. And I remember looking at the company, and most times when I think we look at companies, you have to choose which poison you want. You want a new company with huge upside potential financially, or do you want a company that's been around for a long time, but a lot of the opportunity is already gone, right? And I remember looking at Immunotec and I was just like, oh my gosh, a 25-plus-year-old company with all these incredible studies where you encourage people to research your product because you're so proud of it, but yet the opportunity on the other side where this is a company that is really launching, like Rusty and Angela said, for the very first time and really focusing on the business side. So we get best of both worlds. And I said, man, is this a dream come true for most people that are in the industry? So I'm super excited. I can only imagine where this group's going to be in the next 4 to 5 years. I think we'll set extremely amounts of different records in the industry. I think we're going to create a lot of talk in the industry, but more importantly, I think we're going to change a lot of lives, and not just on the financial side, but I think on the health and wellness side. I think we're going to really make a difference in the United States. So super excited to be part of this. Finally, I feel like I'm home, and we'll do something big all together. So thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. And it's interesting because, tonight, what was kind of cool about tonight, Monday night, we had three ladies that, two of them, their first company, they had tremendous success. And this is really kind of their second experience in direct sales. And, you guys tonight are coming from a veteran perspective. And that's why I was glad to have this group kind of assembled. And, when I look, Kim, at other companies out there, and I know tonight we're talking a little bit about other companies because it's kind of interesting. I saw a guy, he was the president of a company a while back, and the company went like this and went like that. I call it bottle rocket companies. And it happens. A lot of people, one of my good friends always told me there's always an entrepreneur with a dream. And unfortunately, network marketing a lot of times attracts those entrepreneurs with a dream, and it goes like this, then it goes like this, and it just doesn't create that long-term success. Sometimes it does. But this guy now, he's posting a year later after the other company went out of business, and now he's the CEO of his own company, and I wish him the best. I don't wish him any ill will, but I looked at the product and I'm like, just another Me Too. It's another stick pack with nothing special about it that people are going to get involved in, and then a year later they're going to be looking for some other way to make money. And what I love when I saw Immunotec was I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I was looking for something that grabbed me, that I went, whoa, what? And that was the reaction that I had when I was talking to Mauricio. I mean, I've heard about Immunical, the basic version. I didn't know about the platinum or the sport, which I take every single day and have had tremendous results on personally. And then when I started digging in, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to have to convince somebody that they should try this product because this drink or this gel or this lotion is better than the next one. I wanted to be able just to present something to somebody that nobody else could argue with. I'm 47. I don't have time to argue, right? I don't want to argue. I'm a little set in my ways on some things. So I don't feel like debating people to say mine's better than yours. I just say mine's got 79 patents and 92 studies. I know yours doesn't. So it's not an issue of an argument. It's an issue of we've planted our flag. I've heard you guys say that a couple of times now with a product, with a company, that we know what the product does. It does one focused thing. It is proven to increase your glutathione levels naturally. I was at a place today where I go about once a month, and I get stretched by this guy. And it's just because I had a little bit of a back issue, and he was talking about glutathione, because I just asked him about, he knows everything about glutathione and everything else medical. And what was cool is that he understands what glutathione does. He goes, Mike, do you know? And it was kind of cool from somebody else's perspective that's not involved in Immunotech. He goes, you can't live without that stuff. And I go, I heard that. I heard glutathione, you can't live without it. That's kind of crazy. And I said, that you can't eat your way to make enough glutathione. You can't, inject your way to make your body do more. You can't supplement your way. He goes, I know, it just dies in the gut. And he's just like, I mean, it was just an amazing conversation from somebody that, I haven't talked to the business about, haven't talked to the product about. I just asked him one simple question, and it started the conversation, and that is, ever heard of glutathione? And of course he did. And I think, Mick, I want to jump down to you. You took this and ran with it. I mean, you grabbed the bull by the horns and just said, you know what, this is where I'm going to make a massive impact. And I don't think anybody brought in more people during pre-launch personally than you did. I mean, you absolutely crushed that. And what that turned into, a lot of people don't realize, is that pre-launch is extraordinary. Beta launch, where we're at now, that kind of in between launch phase where we're tweaking the last few things, putting things together. It's where you can earn, bring people in, take advantage of the whole comp plan while we finalize a handful of other things. Realize that momentum that comes from pre-launch, and then you've got the opportunity. You can do one of two things. You can just continue to be consistent with your pre-launch and keep putting in the work, putting in the effort, treating it like the launch that it is, or you can let it kind of curve down. And then the other option is if it flattens out a little bit, you have the opportunity to bump it back up with a lot of excitement, like, just really learning a little bit about glutathione and sharing it and being consistent with your presentations and sharing some of the information that we've done on the last couple calls. But Mick, you've been super consistent. I mean, you're every call, every day, pushing your team, sharing glutathione. And what I love is that people are starting to see that, if I'm consistent, if I'm vocal, if I'm posting, if I'm leading, I can have success here.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. And Mike, you said something, and I was talking to a teammate, and they said, "How many of those Zooms should I get on?" And I said, "All of them. If you're going to do this business, you want to get on all of them, or at least watch the replay. You got to plug into the information." And tonight's a really good example, just from us talking so far. I've already heard a few things. Like Mike, you said when you were in that one company, you didn't know there was another company. You were just like, this is it. Well, I was thinking while you were talking about that, the last few years, I haven't felt like that. I was always open. Whatever I was doing, I would listen. I'd look at it. I was open, even though I was doing something. And this is the first time in years I'm not open. I'm not recruitable. I don't care what you got. This is my home. And I haven't felt like that in such a long time. And, there's many reasons behind that. One, when I watched you and Tiffany in that first video, I've never heard of you in my life, but I immediately just had a connection. I said, I could follow this dude. He's had a really successful track record. I found out you're a believer. I'm like, okay, this is a guy I can, plant my flag with and run with, partner up with, family man. And so that was one thing. And then the team behind this, like Brandon and Denise, the support here is incredible. Like if a brand new person comes with no experience and they're like, I don't know what to do, you will never get left behind here unless you choose to. There is an unlimited amount of support from you, Mike, but then Brandon and Denise have put together these groups. There's people in there creating content for people that are a little bit new, maybe to social media, or they don't have enough confidence to make their own yet, or they don't know what to say. There's people in there making it for us. So every, tool and resource that we need is available. And the same thing from Immunotec. I mean, they've armed us with all of these resources that even a new person that feels like, I don't know enough, you don't need to. The tools are there. I mean, I look at this product, the flagship, the OG, the Immunocal Original, and I've just never been a part of a company that had a product with that much credibility. I call it street cred. I mean, let me tell you something. When you open up the physician's desk reference and that's in there and it says it's clinically proven to raise glutathione values. Not it might, it may, it could, it does. So when you said a minute ago, you didn't like having to get another stick product with the same stuff, different label, and convince people to try it because it might help them. We don't have to do any convincing. If you consume this, it will do it. It's already proven. You just have to decide as a consumer, am I interested in slowing down the aging process and building up my immune system as strong as I can get it as I've aged? And so having that kind of a product and the kind of customer service behind us, I mean, and by the way, we got all the products. You got a little sweet tooth after dinner and you're like, I shouldn't eat that Snickers bar or that Butterfingers. Mix up a strawberry or a chocolate or a vanilla. We got the cream. This stuff is amazing. It's not just for ladies. My old skin, it needs it really bad. The hibiscus booster. We got, somebody goes, what product should I try? All of them. You're a consultant, man. What if somebody's not into this, but they are into this? We've got the most incredible product line to help people from, an infant to 108 years old and everything in between. There's something for everybody. And then they sent in the last order gold and silver pins. So high five to the company. I got 3 phone calls from the company to congratulate on going gold executive. And the first 2 I didn't answer because I'm like, who's that? You know how we are today. If this thing's ringing and you don't recognize it, I'm not answering that. And the third time I'm like, man, they are persistent. And I answered, and it was Immunotec, a personal phone call saying, we've been trying to reach you to congratulate on gold. And I'm like, this company's got it together, man. So if you're on here new tonight and you're going, is this the one? Yes. And get started, because if you start tonight, get back with who invited you here. You got almost 5 months to go on the cruise with us till July 31st. You can qualify. Some people did it in 1 month. You got 5 months. Anyway, I could keep going, but I'm pretty excited.
I love it. And you know what's funny? You said something made me think of a conversation, Angela, I had with you. We were talking, I don't know if it was the end of the month or maybe it was in the last couple of days. I don't remember. And it was probably, it's 9:30 my time right now. It was probably 9:30 or 10, or it was late. And she was like, hey, I got a question about this. And I'm like, I'm going to shoot it over on the WhatsApp group. You'll hear about it in the next couple of days. And she texts me like a few minutes later. She's like, customer service person in Peru is on the phone with me right now. And I thought that is so cool to see, like, people are engaged. I will tell you, I get the benefit of kind of sitting on both sides of the fence, so to speak, and looking in at corporate, looking in the field, and the corporate people at Immunotec. I don't know all of them by any means. There's a lot, right? But I've been involved and interacted with so many, and they are passionate about this company. They really are. It's different. And I know, it sounds a little cliche, but people will just have to experience it for themselves. Like when I heard about the calls, I believe Darren Sliva, he actually sent me a message. He goes, I just got a call for going gold, and it was amazing. I'm like, who called you? Like Denise or Brandon? Did they call? I had no clue. I didn't know they called. I mean, it's like, I didn't know that was part of the thing. And I thought that alone, knowing that kind of attention to detail matters, that it's important to them to make those calls. That's fantastic. There's no perfect company. I've said that for years and years and years and years. You got to find the company you want to kind of have your bumps and bruises with, so to speak. But I'll tell you, the compassion that the team has internally and the excitement of it has been really cool. And I can't wait to really kind of have a lot of people come together on this cruise. This cruise is going to be awesome. I'm going to jump over to Kimmin for a second. Kimmin, so like incentive trips. Let's talk about incentive trip for a second. Right now, people can earn points by, bringing in new customers, bringing in new consultants, getting the reorders, which is kind of cool, built into the cruise. You don't see that very often. It's usually about new, which is really good. That's a lifeblood of a business. But knowing that you can work with your team consistently, I can bring in Kimmin, and then Kimmin can reorder, and I get points for that for the cruise, and he can reorder again. I get points for it. What have you seen with this company just on incentives in the very short time that you've been involved here? But what's your take on it with the cruise and how it's being approached?
No, I think it's awesome. I think the way the company is set up, it's really set up for the average person. And one of the things that, Rusty and I and Mick, we've talked about this before, is that, a lot of comp plans and incentive trips are a lot of times focused for the 20 percenters. the people that are going to go out there and full-time recruit, get a ton of customers, and just go full bore with the business. But the 80%ers, the stay-at-home mom and dads, the people that have full-time jobs that can only do this a couple hours a week, those people sometimes suffer and never really get to the benefit of these really incredible incentive trips that these direct sale companies offer sometimes. What I've seen here is that the comp plan and the incentives are really designed for the average person, the 80%ers, to win in the comp plan, but more importantly, be able to participate in some of these incentive trips. And so the generosity that the company is doing with all these incentives, the points, on the reorders and everything else is incredible. You don't see that very often with a lot of companies. It's like a one and done, like you purchase one time and it's done, or you do something one time and it's done. There's no reorders that you get points towards an incentive trip every single month during the qualification period. So when you look at it from a whole, especially for those of us that have been doing this a long time, the way the company is set up, you said it perfectly. Attention to detail is absolutely incredible, that it's designed for the person who's doing this very part-time to the professional who wants to just knock this out of the park and make it their biggest venture ever. It's really incredible, but I love the way they have everything set up for everybody.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I'm traveling tomorrow. It's funny, we talk about the products. Mick says, take all the products. That's like a problem for me right now. As I'm leaving, we have a place in the mountains and we're going up there for a little bit, like the next couple weeks or something. And I'm like, okay, my entire family takes these products now. And it's like, I got boxes of products. I'm like, because I take all these things and they're very, luckily we're driving. So pray for me, Carlo, tomorrow, 12 hours on the road. Feel free to call. I need distractions. But I've set up mini Zooms. My kids hate me. I'm like, play the music, Dad. I'm like, I'm on a Zoom. Be quiet. But it is pretty cool to try all these products. And I will tell you, one of my favorite products, Angela, Rusty, I'm going to jump to you here in a second. When you guys got to try the products for the first time, I know it was kind of funny because we were talking, it was all about the happy pill. And those people that don't know what happy pill is, that's the Sunray. Just a fantastic product. I've heard, it's interesting, since we launched, I've heard so many more testimonies about Sunray, about people taking it and their mood going up and just feeling better, and some really drastic stories, candidly, about people's mindset from where they were at to where they went. And I know when you guys first got to try the products, you were like, oh my gosh, these things really work. And I know you're really passionate about products. I mean, I remember, as I look at your career, you've had good products that you've aligned yourself with for 2 decades. How do you feel about the products, which you could share with people with Immunotec?
Mike, we got some incredible testimonials, but one is our high functioning autistic son that's 13 years old. And, he has texture issues. It's hard to get him to take any type of supplements. And it has been absolutely amazing to see that this kid gets up at 7 a.m., walks in the kitchen, mixes a blue with a green booster. I mean, mixes it perfect every single time and does his body shot every single day. And we're seeing some amazing, in just 2 weeks' time, we're seeing some amazing differences in his mood. He's not, he's ADD on top of, I mean, he never stops talking, and it has really settled him down, his mood. We've seen a
Yeah,
drastic
it's helped him
change.
be able to control his emotions a lot better, and he loves the happy pill, or he's never going to stop calling it, because once he starts calling something, that's for life.
I love it.
Yeah.
So he calls it his happy pill, but he takes it once a week. He knows exactly. He does it on Sunday, so he looks forward to that. But I think he can even tell it makes him feel better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm a sport fan, though. I mean, 2 a day, every day.
Yeah.
and I
It's,
love the platinum. So
you're the platinum. And that's what's cool, is that you have different variations for different people. My dad, he has I'm not an emotional guy. People that know me know I'm not emotional, but for some reason my estrogen just extra high lately. But my dad got diagnosed with, and some of my friends are on here probably from my hometown and they don't know this, so they're hearing this for the first time. It's not like news, but I'm just going to share it. he got diagnosed with it's called Lewy body dementia, which is an aggressive kind. And basically what's interesting is he's a handy guy, handy guy. I mean, he's always out doing stuff. I recently moved him into a independent living. That's what they call them in Florida. But it's a place that basically they're on their own, but there's some help around. And it was kind of interesting. He was working in his attic when they had their home a few years ago, and he slipped out, tried to grab the ladder, the ladder adders, and apparently hit his head. I wasn't there, I don't know, and he also has aphasia. So the poor guy can't speak real well. So Bruce Willis has aphasia as well. You can't quite get your speech out, and if you do, just imagine 10 random words that don't go together. That's what his sentence is. So it's very difficult to communicate. And now he's having some of these memory issues. So, I mean, Tiffany told me probably for the last year and a half, 2 years, maybe, it's just been, it's all about him, right? And medical. He's like, I need this. It's the next medication. I need you to take me to the pharmacy. I need the ladies to do this for me. I got to go to Walmart. I mean, it's just because it's such a big life change for him. And what was interesting, after a couple weeks on the product, we were over there, I feel like it was maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I didn't even notice it because I'm just, I get stressed out when I'm over there. I was just going to be very candid. It's like I'm dealing with this. I'm only child. And when we left, Tiffany goes, did you see what your dad did? And I'm like, no, I was trying to avoid that a little bit. You were talking to him. I was talking to my mom. And she goes, he asked about the grandkids. She's like, he hasn't mentioned the kids year and a half. I mean, we live 10 minutes away. We take the kids over for little bitty times with them because it's a stressful situation because he doesn't know how to communicate, and the kids get upset because they remember him as Paul, and then he tries to talk and they're like, what is this guy saying? So it's a dynamic that we're walking through, right? But she's like, he asked about the grandkids. He hasn't mentioned them in a year and a half, 2 years. So it's just interesting to see these little things. So, I mean, I'm the guy that I'm not a studies guy. When I think, Denise, about, if you were to paint a picture of the person who would probably be least likely to read the studies, it's my face, right? That is not me. I'd much rather just try something, see what happens, and go from there. But I've read through the whole book. I've read all the studies. I'm super intrigued by them because I feel like I'm running into people now that are in situations like maybe me with my dad, or maybe they're going through it themselves. A good friend of mine that owns a very successful marketing company, he's buying the product now. He went live today on his personal Facebook. He's not a member of or a consultant or anything of Immunotec, and he's doing a live on how to mix this amazing product that's making him not, get his glutathione levels up, and he's the only one in his family that didn't get sick. And he's going live on Facebook. I mean, Denise, this product and this company, it's making an impact that I don't think we've even scratched the scratch, much less the surface are. I mean, you had somebody that has already risen through the ranks with their check that has just done some amazing things just in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been so fun for people to get their products and then to start actually using them and seeing a difference in just a few short weeks. I mean, we just got our boxes, right? So we're just getting into it. And we've had people say their eyesight is better. We've had people who are sleeping better through the night, who have more energy with the happy pill. I had someone with an autoimmune disease who's lethargic and low energy and just never quite feels right. She said, on my third day, I cleaned the whole house. Like that never happened. And so people are starting to get results quickly. And once you understand what glutathione is, I was talking to my friend the other day and she's like, give me all the glutathione. Like we all need glutathione. And once you understand it, you, like Rusty said, you're going to like 2 a day, right? Like we want all the glutathione because it helps with so many issues and helps you to be healthy from the inside out. And when you have a product that you truly believe in, that works, that you're excited about, that has the science and the backing, you don't have to think about it, right? We want to shout it from the rooftops. And so because of that, we've got girls shouting it from the rooftops all over the States and Canada right now, and they're making income for their families within just a few short weeks.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about income for a second. Denise, I want to stick with you. And, as we were looking at this compensation plan and going, okay, how do we simplify this? I mean, I've shared this before. I was the chief sales officer of a rather large company for over a decade. And, my job was strategy, sales, marketing, ideas, and leading, from the front. And I think it was 8 years. I've said this many, many times. This isn't anything new. It's not a secret. It's 8 years before I gave a compensation plan presentation. Nobody asked me about the compensation plan because we had a simple way of explaining things. And when we looked at Immunotec and the compensation plan, we thought this is really simple to explain if you just build it around 3 customers, 3 consultants, duplicate that, and teach people how to build to silver with these starter packages. And Denise, maybe share on that for a second about the concept, not necessarily the details, right? Because we know it's 3 customers, 3 consultants, and then each of those 3 consultants get 3. So it's a total of 3 consultants, 12 customers. You try to do that your first full month, and then just at minimum, maintain that the second month, maintain that the third. That's what qualifies you as silver. And the company, in addition to, I think it's like $1,129, they give you another $500 bonus. So you're talking like $1,600 over your first 90 days. I think it's the most money for the least amount of actual sales volume created in direct sales. But you talk about the function of it. That's what I want you to share, Denise, because you're a very smart person when it comes to marketing. Like, your marketing brain just blows me away, and online and how you guys do stuff. But one thing that you continue to share is, like, you don't need to know everything. You just need to learn a few simple things and repeat them. And that's what this 1K club is really doing.
Absolutely. And I'm a comp plan person. So I'm like, give me the strategy. When you tell me what to do, I can do it. Right. And so I read through the entire comp plan, and we really figured out that it's really just these 3 key steps. Right. And we created the 1K club to help new distributors who've never done this before, who want to know, what do I do? What do I say? How do I make money? Just give me the roadmap. The 1K club is the roadmap. And when you have a clear roadmap for seasoned or newbies coming in, right, it creates duplication within the team. We don't have to think. We just get to talk. We just get to introduce the products and the compensation and the company to people and ask if they want to try it or if they want to make money while they do. And that is what creates the speed. Action creates speed. And when you have the clear action plan of the 1K club, you don't have to think, you can just do.
I like it. Mick, I'm going to jump down to you. Let's talk about simplicity for a second, and just the idea that somebody can go out, they get started on a pro pack, they can grab a couple customers, grab a couple consultants, and really duplicate that fast through this plan. It's about not only, speed. Success loves that speed, but it's about the repetition and being consistent and disciplined.
Yeah, and that 1K club is the driver. There's always a PDF of an entire comp plan with all the intricate details, and we have that. But the driver, what brings that to life and makes it work, is the 1K club. And, it's 4th grade simple. Anyone can get 3 and help them get 3, and just keep repeating that process. And that's what turns small checks into big checks, is that happening a lot in your organization. And I think because of the products too, especially for a newer person, I like to use talk demo. Just use the products yourself, as many as you can or as many as you need, so you have different stories, and then talk about what did it do for you, and then demonstrate how to go buy it. Use talk demo. That's kind of the formula that I've followed for a long time to keep it real simple, because not everyone can, get up on a whiteboard and do all this stuff and know all of Dr. Gutman's lingo, and it's too complicated. So a real simple approach is, you're a consultant for this company. Number one, first and foremost, use the products, and always never run out. Use them daily. Talk about what kind of benefits you experience, and then just demonstrate how to go buy it. And if you keep it that simple, that 1K club really will come to life.
Yeah,
it really will. That's not overcomplicating it.
No, you're not. And when you think about getting paid here, I see Casey's asking, how often are you paid? And so we have a monthly pay, but I know many of you went out and you were building your business. And if you meet some thresholds early in the month, they actually pay you early, right? Mick, I'll throw it to you for that. Because you got that real early. You were like, because you called me, I think, and you're like, hey, I thought we were paid monthly. And I'm like, we are. And you're like, I just got a big check.
And that was the first month, well, the partial month of February. And then today I got an email on my phone. I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's the 13th. And so in the month of March, I've already brought in 4 new consultants. And because I brought in 3 of them before today, I got the max bonus on the business builder bonus, and it showed up today in my thing. And I said, man, I was just thinking about the first week of April we'll start to get paid again. And then that showed up. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Kim, and let me jump to you. We'll start to round out the call here. I want to come to each of you on one last thing. And this is just, what can you share with the person that's on here? Everybody's new, right? So it's not like I'm saying, what can you share with the new people? Everybody's new. Kimmon's new. I'm new. Everybody's new. It's a 28-year-old company that you can go to every one of your neighbors and say, have you ever heard of Immunotec? And they're like, don't know what you're talking about, right? It's not a company that is popularized today in America and Canada. And that's what we're doing. And that's where an opportunity is just an extraordinary piece of timing in history. And, Kim, and I think you said, or I think it was you said something about, I can't wait to see where people are at in 5 years. And, in 5 years, we're going to have created $1 billion in sales. It's with everything in me. I don't make those statements very lightly. I can see it. I know it. I see the product. I see what's coming. We're in this, it was Brandon that actually said, we're more in a beta launch right now, Mike. He goes, we're not launched yet. We've got to put some things together. Like, we're still working on some extraordinary systems, simple marketing systems, simplifying how we explain glutathione, because I think still some people think, when they look, well, no, I got open packs here. So when they look at our product, they think this is glutathione, and there's not a bit of glutathione in any of our products, right? Because if there was, it wouldn't work. Right? You think about that. If this was glutathione, it'd get ate up in the gut, because that's what happens when you actually take glutathione. You get to use a little bit, but this is a product with bonded cysteine. So this is protein. So when you think about it, people say, well, can you take too much? Well, how big a steak can you eat? Right? It's just like you're taking protein. And when you talk to people that you want to get more healthier, they say, increase your protein, increase your protein, increase your protein. You take one of these, you get 10 grams of protein in the blue. You take 2, you get some more protein. You take 3, you get some more protein. That's what I love, Kimon, is that when we talk about a goal 5 years from now, it's a big number and a lot of lives are changed, but we're where we're at right now, right? Some people are literally just getting their starter packages. And I can tell you this, one thing I heard, which was crazy, the customer service is tracking the orders. I don't know the last time I got a call from a company that actually tracked their own shipments. But I heard it like dozens of people. They're like, I got a call from the company telling me my product was delayed by the Postal Service because the Postal Service is delayed on everything. And I'm sitting there going, okay, is this really happening? Is the Postal Service really delayed? And then literally I have an air conditioner guy that, I wrote him 3 checks because he worked on some of our commercial property. It's been 2 weeks. He hadn't got the checks and he lives like 3 miles away from me. So I'm like, yeah, the Postal Service is having some problems, but the company's calling people that are not getting their orders in the timely manner that they're used to. And they're like, hey, if you don't get it tomorrow, we're reshipping. And like, that's the kind of mentality. So when you take the operational sophistication, the technological sophistication, and then you put the product on top of that with an amazing team, Kim, and just when people are going right now and they can't think 5 years out, they're thinking 5 days out. What can you share with them?
I think the biggest thing I can share with everyone is, I think no matter what business you're in, if you're in a business, you have to have a little bit of long-term vision of where your business, where you want it to be, where you want your team's business to be, where you want your family to be. I think, it's great to think the next 5 days, but I think for all of us, we're in a really special moment right now, a special timing right now. And what I would tell you is that no matter what you've been through, in any other business, that you have finally found a home here where you can share it with everyone. and know that this company is going to be around for a long time. So I would tell you to share it with everyone, even the people that have ever told you no before in any other opportunity. I've always believed that no in any opportunity is never no forever. It's just no, not right now. So I would share it with everyone and be excited about what you found. I think when you start reading the testimonies and you start looking at the science and you start looking at everything that the company has done the last 25 years, you can't help but be so impressed with what they're doing, and to realize that we get to be a part of it at the beginning stages in the US to help the company grow another 300, $400 million in the next couple years. The question you just ask yourself is, what would that do for you? What would that do for you and your families? Just to be at the right place at the right time. And if you can get excited with that, just know this, that there are people out there right now looking for exactly what we have. I'm so thankful that Rusty called me. We've been friends for a very long time. And I think it'd be very, very easy for Rusty to say, you know what, Kimmon's already doing something. I'm not going to call him. But I'm so thankful he did. And so if someone like myself, who's been in the industry for 20 plus years, involved with the company and deep down inside looking for that home, if someone like me would be open and looking, someone like Mick, who's been in the industry and was, like he told you, he was in a business, growing a business, and he was open. Here's what I'll tell you, everyone is looking, because most of the people out there that have been in network marketing before, they've never experienced something like this. They're looking for something like this. I think it's our opportunity to be able to be the first one to share that with them, because let's face it, before Rusty called me, I've never even heard of Immunotec. And they've been around for 25 years. And I've been in the industry full time for 21. And I've never heard of Immunotec. So if that doesn't tell you the magnitude of the opportunity that we all have, I'm just going to tell you this. You never want to look back at something and say, man, I had an opportunity too. You want to look back and say, man, I'm so glad I did. So I would tell you guys, just be excited about where we're at. Go out there and share it with everyone, because if you don't, eventually someone will. And that's probably the worst feeling you could ever have in network marketing, is you're involved with the company and a year later someone calls you up and goes, I have got to share something with you. And you say, sure, what is it? And they said, it's a company called Immunotec. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've been involved for a year. They're like, what? Why didn't you call me? Right? And the excuse of, well, I didn't think you'd be interested, never, ever works. So go out there, share it with as many people as you can, take advantage of the timing, and we'll look forward to seeing all of you guys on stage. Take care.
I love it. I'm smiling because it makes it, Rusty. I'm just thinking, like, what if you wouldn't have made that call? You know what I mean? I mean, my first mentor in the business, he used to have this training that he did, and he said, you can build this business one of two ways: mad or excited. And he gave the example, and I'm not trying to tell everybody they have to have my personality or this personality. I'm just saying his point was, if you approach something just kind of like, hey, this is kind of a cool product. It has nitric oxide, and Viagra has nitric oxide. It may do something for, I don't, whatever. If you have no emotion with it, then they may not get that excited. But he used to tell me, and he'd do this from stage, and I loved it, and I mimicked it for years, and I'm using it 25 years later because it absolutely works. And he said, when you walk up to somebody's door, again, this is years ago when you'd actually, go to people's doors. And today it's Zoom and it's phone calls and it's text. And sometimes it's in person. But he said, if you just walk up to their door and you just kind of knock normal and they answer the door and go, hey, how are you? I really like to talk to you about something. Like, they're just going to be like, yeah, close the door. Like, even if they're your friend, they're not interested. But if you pull up to their house, and like, you don't have to speed all the way to their house, but you get like just 2 doors down from their house and you floor it, and you get right in front of their house and, slam on your brakes, get out of your car, leave your car door open, sprint to their front door, and you're just, right. And they come to the door like, you got to sit down. I got to tell you what this, it's a different mentality. Now I'm over exaggerating it to make a point, obviously. But it is true that it's the way you approach something. It's the belief level, right? Most of the time, you have to create belief on a personal testimony because you hear a story like Rusty and Angela, talk about their son, and you're like, okay, I got belief in that. I know somebody who's had a benefit with this product, or me with my father, or whoever it may be. This is something that the physician's desk reference tells you it absolutely is proven to increase your glutathione. 79 patents, 92 studies, 165 institutions. I mean, we were watching something the other day with Dr. Gutman, and it had University of Kentucky in the background where they did a study. And my wife's like, wait a second, that's where I went to university. So, I mean, there's connections all over the world. The product works. But now it's about, making those connections. And Rusty and Angela, I'll go to you guys for just kind of a closing comment to people here from an excitement level. I mean, I know we all have different personalities, and I don't want to change a soul, but I know I saw your excitement level, Rusty, go from like methodical, and you were like, I get this business, it's smart. And then like in Houston, it was a different level. And I just seen you guys skyrocket out of there. Muted.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike, and I'm an introvert. So, introverts seem to have the personality that they don't get as excited, or they don't show their emotion. But yeah, we're absolutely stoked. But I think that I'm going to just echo what Kimon said. I think enthusiasm is the key. You got to get excited. And bottom line, enthusiasm, if you take the last four letters of the word IASM, I am sold myself. That's the key, is to be sold yourself. Enthusiasm. And here's the key. I mean, this is the ultimate. I think it was the revivalist, the Methodist revivalist, John Wesley, said, if you light yourself on fire, people will come from miles around to watch you burn. So you got to get excited, and you got to light yourself on fire. So you got to set yourself on fire so people will come, and they're asking, they see it, they feel it. They're near you. They feel the heat. So I think that's really the key.
I love it. Angela, any last words here?
Yeah, I think it's important that we remember, when we're out and about, people are hurting everywhere.
Yeah.
If we're just listening to people and take an interest in other people, we can create a path of what they're needing to what we can offer
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
And so I just think that, keep your ears and your eyes open and see how you can help people always is a key to building your not only long-term relationships, because this is more like a family to us. All of our business partners have become family to us. And that just keeps us humble. It keeps us servant leadership, which is what we want to be. We want to be servants to our people, and people want to know that you care. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, very true. You're getting some amens on the chats there. I see Rhonda and others. Hopefully, I don't know if it's my internet or somebody else's internet. That was getting a little in between. So hopefully everything's coming through okay. Mick, I'm going to jump down to you for some last comments here. I was looking, I see somebody, I don't know who it is, but it says, advice on how to get some watchers knocked off the fence. And, sometimes, we're approaching things in business where, we want people just to do it on their own. And, we've got some amazing systems. We've got some, hi, Sarah. She told me her name's Sarah. It's iPhone 3. So she gave me her name. I appreciate that, because most people hide behind their name, right? Or hide behind their anonymous. But she's like, all right, I got traffic. I've got people looking, but I've just not closed anybody yet. I've just not got it there. Maybe some words of advice for Sarah tonight.
Absolutely. And perfect timing. Rusty, I wrote that one down. The last four of enthusiasm. I am sold myself. I had never heard that in 21 years.
Neither.
And by the way, Kim, in 21 years for me too, I've never heard of Immunotec ever, not one time. In being very involved in the industry like you, that shows you, if you're in the USA or Canada and you're on this call tonight, you've got a tremendous opportunity sitting in your lap right now. I would not drag my feet. I'd thank whoever invited you here and say, let's go. Tell me how to get started. But back to Sarah, it's back to the enthusiastic part. and believing in what you got. Because let's talk social media. Like if I make a post about, this today, and then I make one about this tomorrow, and then I go, 2 or 3 weeks without ever saying anything, the people that were watching you, because I promise they are,
Mhm.
they're gonna go, yeah, I knew it. She already quit talking about that. She's not serious about it. So, like, I do a lot of social media, even though I'm an older guy at 62. I'm very consistent about like things that are important to me, my faith, my family, and my business, those three things. So I post consistently about all three of them. So people kind of know, who is this dude? And when you're always posting about your business consistently, and I don't mean overdoing it, that can go the opposite effect. You don't want to be like a sales page on your Facebook, but if you're doing it consistently, it shows the watchers, because the number is for a person to pull out their credit card and buy something today, they got to see something to 7 to 13 times again and again before they make a buying decision. This is people that don't really know you. They're more of like acquaintances. So when you keep going, she's saying that again. She's saying again how good that stuff is. She's still saying how good that stuff. Then they come around. But what happens to people, they start, they stop, they start, they stop. Or they'll talk about Immunotec today and then a different MLM the next day. And it's like, who's going to follow that? Like, that's confusing. Like, you're either in or you're out. Like, so that would be my advice. Just
Good.
stay consistent with sharing, because people are watching, even if sometimes it seems like they're not.
Yeah, I love that, Mick. I appreciate that. A lot of wisdom in that. Denise, I'll let you round out this Zoom tonight, and maybe let's build upon that topic, because I know a lot of people did a lot of work during pre-launch. There's a lot of people still following up with leads and different people that they're just getting in touch with, and others are off to the races. I saw there was a gentleman that he lives outside the country, got involved in the pre-launch, and sent I can't remember, he's an MD, but I don't remember, he's a doctor, but now he's in the naturopath or homeopath. I'm not sure which one it is. But he's getting customers like every day, like crazy. Now he's got, a list of people, right? They're coming in, he's sharing glutathione with them or I'm sorry, Immunical with them and what glutathione does. And he's got that access. Other people are, like Sarah, that she says, I'm posting every day, business, family, and puppies, of course. So I mean, being consistent is super important. We know that. But sometimes it's timing, and it is a matter of ratios. It reminds me, I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals guy. You asked me about their team this year, I couldn't tell you a thing about it because I've been busy with business and focused on that. But I've always appreciated the idea and the analogy of a batting average. A baseball player that's professional goes up 10 times, he strikes out 7, they pay him $20 million a year, right? Because he gets on base 3 times out of 10. He fails 7 times. I said somewhere the other night, we were walking out, it was the gym. It wasn't the other night, it was the day. And they told me, Mike, you're going to have to do our next challenge, this gym challenge. And mind you, I don't particularly like working out. I just do it because the experts say you want to live longer, lift heavy weights, and I do it. That's the only reason I go to the gym. I don't need the camaraderie. I don't need the rah-rah. I don't need it. I don't like it, but I do it because they tell you to lift weights and you'll live longer. And they were saying, oh, you got to come to this next challenge we're doing. And they go, you'd probably win. I go, but what you don't understand about me is that I learn a lot more from losing. And it makes me think about batting average, right? You lose 7 times, you miss the ball 7 times, you strike out or you don't get on base 7 times, Denise, and you still make a life-changing income. And I think sometimes ratios, matter. So you're the marketer of the group. You're the people that I look to and I go, okay, how do we've got something good. How do we make it great? What could you share with people tonight? Just, get them off to the races in addition to the cruise points and, getting their product and everything we've talked about. It's been extraordinary advice. I really appreciate all of you sharing. But Denise, in the call for us.
Well, you've heard people, the entire group talk a bit about belief tonight, right? Belief in the products. We've That's like in the bag. We've got the patents, we've got the studies, we've got the testimonies, we've got top-notch products that nobody else has. We also have belief in the industry, and these leaders who are on the call right now have been there, done that, experienced success in the industry. So we know what it's like to create and experience momentum, which is why we're so excited to be here right now, because we know what's happening. And so belief in the industry is just that, like, anybody can learn the skills to experience success in an industry like this. So you've got belief in the industry, you've got belief in the product, and then you've heard the company, a well-oiled machine that we get to walk into that already has customer service that's open till 11 p.m. Eastern. Like, what? That already calls when they notice your shipping is delayed in a random city on, whatever. That already calls when you promote. Like, they already have their systems in place. They already are making over 200 million in sales. We just get to be a part of it now. Like, check, we've got belief in the company. So the last thing that we need belief in, right, is ourselves. So the question is do you have belief in you? And the good news, my friends, is that you can learn all of the skills that you need to create a business, to recruit, to talk, to market, to bring people in. And like Mick said, it's use the product, share it, and invite them to use it too. So we've got so many systems in place to teach you these skills, so you have the exact same opportunity as everybody here on the call. And so building the belief in you, Mike, is, I think, the next step for anybody who's feeling a little bit nervous. And we've got the systems to help you do just that.
I love it. So everybody, thank you, Denise, Angie, Rusty, Kimmin, Mick, everybody. Just you've heard a lot of great nuggets tonight. And, if you want to keep that going, if you want to hear more information every day, put it on your top list of Immunotec Platinum Pros. People are sharing things every day. The marketing stuff is being shared every day. The ideas are being shared every day. So I know there's probably a way you can highlight it, make sure it's
And
the
check out the guides tab. There's a lot of stuff
guides
there.
tab. Okay, so the guides tab, click on guides tab in the group. You guys know more about that than I do. So you go in that group, you click on the guides tab, and there's tons of information that you can continue to stay into action, into discipline. So we'll conclude the Zoom this week. Make sure March, get that subscription order 500 set up and process this month. Get that free product. It'll be shipping on the 21st. I think that's next week sometime. Next week, we're going to mix up the Zoom schedule a little bit. This week was heavy on Zooms. We did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We had 2 interview Zooms, then we had 2 training Zooms in the middle. Next week, we'll probably have 2 Zooms, 1 opportunity that you can bring your guest on, and then one training, and kind of mix the training in with some stories as well, just to continue letting you hear what's happening. So watch your email. Most importantly, watch the Facebook group and your text message. You guys have a great week. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.